Good morning. So I've spent a few days in this little place and it's been lovely. I've not seen a soul apart from a few rowers going past. So we've got some bad weather coming in, some strong winds, loads of rain. So I just feel like I need to be somewhere in some civilization for that. Yeah, it's given out some quite strong winds and some bad weather, and I just thought, even though that morning's gorgeous, it's a 2-mile walk to the nearest village, which is, I think it's Kingsley. But me and little Bonny have been walking through these lovely woods called Warburton Woods. Beautiful. It's time to move on. Best thing about having a boat is you can just move.
I do love these remote spots, especially in wild weather like this, and with the Anderton boat lift still broken, it feels like I've got this whole river to myself. But the thing is, it's so quiet out here, hardly any boats pass through, so if something did go wrong, say the boat wouldn't start or I needed help, it could be days before anyone else came along. And as much as I enjoy the solitude, it's probably wise to start heading back towards the world of people.
I love this part of the river because it's really wide. I remember back in the olden days, this was just a natural river, and then they decided to make it into a navigation so that they could put the old barges, the Weaver flats and the Mersey flats on here, loaded up with salt and coal and stuff, and use it for transportation. They put the locks in. In fact, here now to the left, that's the old Frodsham Cut, and that's where the river used to go. Because the bottom of this river used to be tidal, boats had to tie up and wait for the right tide so they could then head onto the Mersey. But then since then, they've built the Manchester Ship Canal. But it's just fascinating, really, you know, they've made this wonderful natural river into this amazing navigation. So we're just coming up now to Sutton Weaver, and I think I may find a mooring here because at 12 o'clock today this storm hits. We've got 95% chance of rain for 2 days, which will be wonderful for the canals, not so good for the rivers, and strong winds. It's the winds I hate.
Being blown when you're cruising a 57-foot boat and you're on your own, it's no fun, because as soon as the wind hits the side of the boat, you're really battling with the tiller, and then you've got the added fun of branches and trees possibly getting blown down. So that's why today I'm heading to a mooring where there's people about, just in case.
This bridge coming up now is the motorway. I think it's the M56. Look at all those cars on there, all busy and probably stressed. Probably not aware this beautiful River Weaver is underneath them. Nowhere I'd rather be. Not the prettiest of moorings, I have to say, but a good place to start. So once the storm ends, we can explore the rest of this river. It's just started to rain. We couldn't have timed that more perfectly. We're here at Rock Savage Moorings. Oh, but I'm going to get inside now, get a brew, so I'll catch up with you a little bit later. Oh, but how was that for timing? Woo!
Because it's so damp and moist outside, oh, I love that word, moist. It's an underused word, isn't it? But anyway, I decided to light my first fire of the year, just to take the edge off, just a small one, because I wanted to see how this fire was, because if you remember when I first got this boat, this fire was falling apart and I had it all refurbished. So I wanted to see how it worked, and it's working well. But one of the downsides on this boat is I've got no USB sockets anywhere, apart from one at the electric cupboard, which powers my router. So it's always a bit of a faff, because everything we do these days on Nintendo Switches, iPads, phones, it's all USB, isn't it? And I turn my inverter off at night, so that means then I've got no power, apart from my big power bank. So I've got a big one down there in the kitchen that runs my coffee machine and my washing machine and stuff. And then I've got a smaller one, but still a big one, in the bedroom. But sometimes when you're sat like this by the fire and you want to be on your phone or on your iPad or playing a game on your Switch, which I like to do, got no power. So I got this, actually saw this in another YouTube video, and it's 165 watts. Now I've had power banks before, the little ones, you know, you get from Argos and stuff, and they don't run my iPad all night. Hello Bonny, come here, come here. You know, when you just sat there playing stuff or on your phone. But this, Bonny, I'm not even bought you a drink and you're shoving your tongue in. But this one, right, I think what's the make, it's U Green. It wasn't that expensive, and this will run my iPad or my Switch or whatever, fiddling about on it all night long, sat on my bed or sat in this chair all night. It's brilliant. It's got a built-in little USB-C lead as well. You see it, Bonny? Leave it. And then it's got 2 other sockets on it as well, and it actually came with a charger as well that also charges it with a retractable lead. But this has been a bit of a game changer, so I just thought I'd share it with you, because as well, my GoPro at the front of the boat that I have running, it lasts about 15 minutes. So with that attached, it's not waterproof, but having that attached somewhere, it can keep that camera running for a whole cruise. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. So hopefully tomorrow, if this weather improves, we'll go and cruise to the end of this navigation. So good morning. I lost you for a couple of days because the weather's been absolutely crappy. Really strong winds, loads of rain. But today we're going to continue our journey and try and make it to the end of this navigation to Weston Point. So I'm looking forward to that. But when I moored up here the other day, I was quite apprehensive because I saw all the graffiti and I thought, oh gosh, you know, mooring here on my own. But you know what? I've absolutely loved it. Bonny's loved it because there's a big grassy bit down there. So she's been getting the zoomies and running around. But it's been so quiet. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed this mooring. See, that's the thing for you. Don't judge a book by its cover. Anyway, let's get going. And also today I've got some friends joining me for this trip. Right, let's get ourselves ready. And there's the Danny. So if you fancy joining me this Saturday, about 25 of us are going, so it's going to be a really good laugh. I've got my twat hat on at the moment now because it keeps raining outside, but my friends have arrived. This is Jason and Marie. So we're going to tackle this weather and try and get to the end of the navigation today. These guys are dreaming of getting their own narrowboat once they retire. But they do hire narrowboats every year, and because of that I've thrown them straight into it today. So my role is to sit back, relax and watch them faff about with ropes and cruise us to the end of this river. So we're going to get you both having a go at driving as well today.
Definitely need to get Marie to have a go.
I will.
More room on here.
Yeah, so I like having a semi-trad because you can all fit. I'll get us going and then you can both have a go. Let's hope this. Look at him, typical bloke. Yeah, we're freezing, aren't we? And he's got his t-shirt on. Anyway, we're off. This has been a lovely little mooring here. Bonny's loved it. She's had the zoomies round this grass. But we're going to try now to get to the end. This stretch of Runcorn was once a bustling shipbuilding zone, and many large vessels were launched here before the ship canal was even built. The docks at Runcorn and Weston Point, where we're heading, handled exports like salt, stone, soap, chemicals and pottery, all transported by barges and narrowboats, with the finished goods transported all around the world. This part of the River Weaver is not as picturesque as all the rest. This is full of industry. It may not look as pretty, but this was the river's lifeblood, its trade, its purpose. Famous for salt, it boomed in the 1890s when Kastner Kellner built a brine electrolysis plant at Weston Point to make chlorine and caustic soda. Brunner Mond followed in 1915, and by 1926 it had grown into the chemical giant ICI.
So just coming up now into view is Marsh Lock. This takes us onto the Manchester Ship Canal, but we're going to go past that and head towards Weston Point, which I've never done before. And remember, back in olden days, there used to be 12 locks on this river, but now there's just the 4 that way and this big lock here, Marsh Lock. But we'll investigate that a little bit later. I have been on it many times through that lock, and I came back that way when I came across the Mersey. But this little offshoot that takes us to Weston Point, I've never been down, so it's a bit of a new thing for me, and you're going to join me.
Oh yeah.
Going to see what's down there. I do like going to these little abandoned bits and seeing what's gone on. So we've got Marsh Lock now to our left, and we're going this way, but there's a massive black cloud that looks really stormy, doesn't it?
And I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, you've got your teeth. You've got a coat with you, haven't you?
I know.
No? You've always got, when you're boating, you've got to have every bit of gear. Sometimes you're in a t-shirt, sometimes you've got your coat on, your hat, sometimes you're in your bikini. So Marie really hates rivers. You're glad we're not going on the ship canal today, aren't you?
Very glad.
But this river is quite calm. It's just, and most rivers are. It's just that when you have a lot of rain, they can get quite a bit of a flow.
That's what worries me.
We're all right. Just watch that cloud. But it'll take a long time, I think, for this to flood because the water levels are down a little bit. But I love rivers because they're nice and deep and they're nice and wide, and they're good for practicing boating. So when we come back this way, you're going to have a go at driving it.
Right.
Have you driven a boat before? Cruised a boat before?
Just a little, not a
Yeah,
lot.
we'll get you on it. Get you on it. This is a good thing. Whilst I'm now stuck on this river, we might as well use the time and have friends on board and give them a proper boating experience. So we're now coming to the end of this part of the navigation, Weston Point. We've got all the factory steaming off here. I've never been down here, so I don't even know if there's any moorings, but at the moment it looks like there's some works going on. So there used to be a link back in olden days where this linked to Runcorn and then onto the Bridgewater, so there was a sort of circle, but they had to block off that part of the canal when they built the Widnes Bridge, the Runcorn Widnes Bridge, and some of that's been all filled in. So they're looking at alternative routes to make that open again. But that would just be wonderful if they could open that up. But obviously it's money, and unfortunately the Canal and River Trust don't have much of that. So it seems now that we can't go any further. I was hoping to moor up on this section here and then go off on foot to look at these abandoned locks and try and find the old abandoned church. But with all this building going on and these diggers and that, I don't think we can do that. Oh, it does say as well. Yeah, we've got to turn round. Oh shit. So I've just made a quick decision, and I've said to Jason, now he's turned the boat round, we've come this far, let's try and get right to the end so we can say we've done it, and hopefully try and find somewhere to moor away from all the construction and go and have a bit of an explore. We'll see. This is sort of live, this is what happens. You never know what you're going to do, but you can't come all this way and not get to the end. We're so glad we've reversed this section because we've just seen one of the abandoned locks, and also just behind is the spire of the old abandoned church. So what we're going to do is try and moor up in this undergrowth somewhere and get off on foot. Oh, but yeah, loads of history here and definitely worth doing. So it's a bit of a faff trying to get on and off the boat here because the roof is level with the ground, but we've made it, and that's where they're doing all this building work. So we're going to go now and have a little explore, see if we can get to these locks and that church.
There we go.
And Jason's just noticed there's an actual lock there as well, and this would have originally gone straight out onto the River Mersey, I presume, because the River Mersey used to the bottom of this before they built the ship canal and Marsh Lock. Can we get there?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Might have to try it from the other side.
Unfortunately, we don't think we can get there this way. I'm having a little look.
Well, we're nowhere near the corner. We're currently stood there next to their house, and we'd have to get down to that corner and round there to get to the lock. So I'm hoping we can go around from this side.
Okay, so we're abandoning this route. If not, we'll have to go by boat. Try and get there by boat. Oh, proper overgrown, and Bonny won't walk through this stuff. We just had to pick her up to get her off the boat through the little woodland there. Ooh. We're going to try and get to that abandoned lock very shortly, but first, whilst we're here, we might as well explore this old church. Now, there's a story behind this, and that is that in 1839, the River Weaver trustees got a petition from all the people working in this area, working on the river, to build a church so they could celebrate the Sabbath. And in 1841, it was built, and it's here. And, you know, it was a very busy church. It held about 400 people. However, when they built the Manchester Ship Canal, they had to cut through the land, and then the church was on its own on an island, and it was said to be the only church in the whole of the country on an uninhabited island. And then in June 1995, it was declared redundant, but it still stands here now. Beautiful, really, but it was robbed then a few years later, and, you know, the things that happen with abandoned buildings. It's such a shame.
Some wide gauge train lines down here, probably for when they were loading up.
Yeah, back in the day. So we've just crossed this bridge now onto the island. This is Christchurch, once a beacon of faith for families of barge and canal workers. It now stands silent and abandoned. Built in 1841 by Edmund Sharp in the Gothic revival style, it served around 400 worshippers for over a century. Back then it stood proudly on the banks of the Mersey, but with the building of the Ship Canal and the Runcorn and Western Canal, it became cut off, left isolated on its own little island. The church was declared redundant in 1995 and later deconsecrated. Today, hidden behind rusting fences, its spire and stonework are fading reminders of a once busy riverside community. So we were going to go and have a little walk that way and explore and see the Ship Canal, but we've just been told off, so we need to leave. Apparently we're on private property. Woohoo! But at least I got some good pictures of the church. Is he escorting us off?
Yeah.
Work. Yeah, so yeah, the things I do, you see, to get you a bit of content on YouTube. No, there's something you really want to see. You've got to get that church. It's got so much history. Wonderful. It's just a shame to see it like that. So hopefully they'll do something with it in the future and not just knock it down.
When I said to you, come for a cruise, you didn't think we'll be looking around all the abandoned stuff and being escorted off, did you? I feel awful because my mum will tell me off when I get home. Is he still following us?
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
They go and get back on the boat.
Yeah, been ordered to get back on our boat and leave. So because we've been booted off this land, we can't walk round to that lock. So what we're going to do, so I'm just getting the rope, is we're going to go by boat again. Hey, they can't kick us off our own boat, can they? So unfortunately we can't get to it at all because all this land's private and we've already been told off. We just feel a bit worried. So we can see the wonderful loch, but unfortunately we can't stop and have an explore. But we're going to head now to Marsh Loch and see what we can walk around there. So what do you think about us being escorted off then?
Reminds you of being a little kid, it does. Exploring the disused factories that were next to where I grew up.
It's happened to me before, so... when I was younger.
Yeah, we're all here now feeling like naughty children.
I'm still loving it.
Yeah, we're having a good day, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we've moored here at Marsh Loch. Now there used to be ladders here so you could get onto there, but there isn't, so we're going to have to be a bit creative on how we get on here. Got a stool. Ooh! So this is Marsh Loch. I've been in this a few times, 4 times altogether. 3 times when I did the ship canal and 1 time when I did the Mersey and ship canal. So yeah, so if we just have a look out here now, you can see the Manchester Ship Canal and beyond is the River Mersey. So that jetty has seen better days. Wouldn't like to moor against that now, but I think that offshoot there is where the old Frodsham Cut went to, but I'm not 100% sure. It's hard to find stuff out about all this. The winds here today are really strong, otherwise I'd get my drone up, but I'm glad I'm not cruising this today, I have to say. It does feel like we're sort of in a abandoned place, doesn't it, considering that this is still used to this day. But the next time that I'm here is hopefully when I'm cruising onto the Manchester Ship Canal once that culvert's been fixed at Chester, and I can head into Ellesmere Port and be on my merry way along the Shropshire Union. Fingers crossed. But if you look here now, you've got the old Marsh Loch sign in black and white. The signs always do look better in black and white, I have to say. So I don't recommend anyone climbing up here. They did used to be ladders. Well, now we've got to get down, which is probably why there's a big sign here saying not to go there. So Marie is driving us now from Marsh Loch back to Sutton Weaver, and she hasn't really driven a boat before, have you?
No.
But the good thing about being on the rivers is they're nice and wide, so if you do get the steering wrong, there's always a chance to correct it before you smash into the bank, whereas on canals they're very narrow and there's loads of more boats everywhere. She's doing a good job, isn't she?
Oh yeah.
You're looking petrified, aren't you? And it is very windy today, so that always makes things harder, and I think especially on a river, because
the wind just hits you get blown, and we're also now going against the flow. So you've got your work cut out, but you're doing really well. Thanks. So we're just coming up now back to Sutton Weaver, and Marie's done a really good job. You're taking over now, Jay, to moor up.
Yep.
So how did you find today's cruise?
It was lovely and peaceful. Even the bit where we got chased away from the church, that was lovely. Felt like I was 5.
Yeah, we felt like kids, didn't we? And there's something good about feeling 5 again. Yeah, when everything was just simple.
After such an amazing day, we moored up and headed off for a Chinese, where we said our goodbyes, and then just shortly after, 2 friends of mine moored themselves up after just crossing the River Mersey.
This is David and this is Anne-Marie, having crossed the Mersey. How was it, Anne-Marie?
Exciting, exhilarating,
Yeah.
and a bit scary.
But worth doing, eh?
Definitely.
Definitely worth doing. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a great experience.
Goodbye, world. Oh, I do love putting my bungs in at the end of the day, shutting out the world. They're actually from IKEA, £6. They're like seat cushions and they fit perfectly in my hole. Rude. Anyway, I've had a lovely day today, you know. It's been so nice because I normally cruise on my own most of the time, and it was so nice having Jason and Marie there. Then we finished it off with a nice slap-up Chinese meal, stuffed. And then my friends now have just moored up outside, so that's really, really lovely. It's nice to see some more people on this river because it's been quite isolating recently because there's hardly any boats on here because we're all trapped. Unless you come across the Mersey, there's no other way of getting here. Anyway, my Tilipin. So the last couple of weeks I've been asking you for name suggestions and all this for him. And I've decided on a name, and I've decided to call him Captain Glenn. And the main reasons for this is his name has been in virtually every single video from when I first started, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing, or still don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, because the pirate cruise is the bit where people buy me a coffee and stuff, and Captain Glenn, throughout the time, he's bought me so many different bottles of rum. He was sending them to me, all weird and wonderful bottles of rum. And also he's bought me lots of coffees, and it's every week people say, well, who's Captain Glenn? Who's that name that's always there? So I thought, because he's been there right from the beginning, I'm going to name this Tilipin after him. I just got to be careful now I don't call it an ugly bugger and all that, because don't offend him. Because I keep saying it's an ugly bugger. But anyway, and we won't. Let's have a rum anyway. It's that time of the video. Let's have a rum. I'm going to have a little bit of this Devil's Bridge spiced rum. I was given this at Crick. And whilst I am pouring this, a huge thank you to this week's pirate crew. Thank you for everything you do. Oh, look at that. I think I've had this one before, but I'm not sure. But it says Devil's Bridge spiced rum infused with Barra Brith Welsh bread. And it's 42%. But hey, whew. Oh, it's quite a clear one. Anyway, cheers everyone. Sweat the lips. Very nice, but I think it'd be better with a mixer. Woo-hoo! Feel it burning. Anyway, we have now covered this whole river end to end. We've been all the way. And because I've covered now most of the history and everything on this river, and I'm still stuck here until that boat lift is fixed or that culvert is fixed, I'm just trapped. But obviously I'm still going to be putting out weekly videos. So what I've decided to do from now on for the next few weeks, because I'm hoping I'll get off before then, is to start answering some of your questions. So if you've got any Q&As, anything you've been dying to ask, anything you'd like to know about boating, all that sort of stuff, then start dropping them in the comments and I'll start addressing them from next week. So anyway, I am going to leave the video here. If you're coming onto the Danny this Saturday, I can't wait to see you. There's about 25 people coming so far. It's still not too late to book. It's the Saturday the 13th and there's a bit of a band on, so it's going to be really, really good. And it's all to support the Daniel Adamson steamboat because it costs a lot of money to run that boat and to keep it in tip-top shape. So yeah, so if you're going, I'll see you there. But if not, I'll see you next week. So take care, stay safe, and a massive huge thank you to my lovely, gorgeous patrons.